Hello and welcome to a new episode with my Volvo with this V10 engine. And as you could see in my last episodes, the engine is broken and you could see some of the bad things in the last video. We have the ignition plug here, and this is one of the valves. Not supposed to look like this. It should be other piece there, so it's in here in the intake. And in this episode I will tear the engine apart and see how much it is damaged, how expensive this rebuild will be. I will put in some stronger things into the engine, but also have to repair the cylinder head, and hopefully the cylinder block is not that damaged. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see. Follow along on the tearing apart the engine. Engine is up here in my old stand, and now let's remove the cylinder head and see how it looks inside here. I don't know, later on when I rebuild this, I think I will put some head studs in here instead of head bolts. That's what's usually used when installing or tuning the cars, but we'll see. Now all of them is loose. Let's take some machine to take it out. Oh, ugly piston, ugly piston. A bit of a party in the cylinder. What do you think? A lot of damages to the piston. It's actually a hole through the piston. So, and here we have some aluminium material, some material from the piston there. And we could also see there is some material in this cylinder as well, so I think maybe it have jumped around a bit of material. These ones other is nicer. Yep, try to rotate it now and see how damaged it is in the cylinder, but I guess it is damaged when it's looking like this. And here is the cylinder head. Looking very ugly. I don't think this is repairable, or maybe it is possible to weld this up and repair it, but I don't know if welding on a cylinder head, if it ever gets as good as it was before. So the piece of the valve here have broken off, played around here in the cylinder, and got stuck on the side there. And we can also see that there is some damage on cylinder number 1 as well. Not as much, but still some. Also here in the number 3, I think these other ones are a little bit better. And the material here, it is some kind of steel pieces, and I think it's actually pieces of the valve seat. You can see that the whole seat have exit the shut here. It's all gone, and it's pieces of that steel ones. And the thing is, when this valve is open and the piston goes up and down, it pushes all of these pieces up in the intake manifold, and then it goes into the other cylinders. Just a quick check into the intake manifold. Dark in there, so I will show you later, but it's material inside there, FOD, so that's the reason for debris in the other cylinders. Pistons, we have the number 5 cylinder, looking all fine and good, but here in the number 2, and there's some scratches in these other ones as well, but you can see it. Cylinders here, it is very damaged. Some marks there from the valve. This one is not possible to hone or bore an over-dimension. It's too much damage, so I need a new engine block, or maybe if I should sleeve it. The thing is, these blocks are really strong usually without sleeving. It's no need to put steel sleeves in, even with like 2200, 2400. The blocks are all fine. But yeah, maybe the cheapest alternative to fix this is to put steel sleeves into this, even though there is some problems always with steel sleeves in these kind of aluminum blocks, looks like. So we'll see, but I will remove the other cylinder head. Hopefully that one is good. Hopefully some things like the crankshaft and stuff down in the engine is good, so I have something to work on and do not have to buy a completely new engine. Because yeah, the budget is out now. I had a budget to build the car. For the money I got when I sold my Lamborghini, I bought a CNC machine, as you have seen, and I bought parts for building this one, and the budget was down to 0. So no money now, so I have to work, try to machine some parts on the CNC to get some money in, and also maybe some views on the YouTube is helping a little bit, even if it's not that much. But thank you everybody that watches my videos and comment and like the videos. It actually gives me some motivation to work on the car and be a little bit more happy when so many watches the videos and give some nice comments about it. Let's take the other head off, and hopefully this one looks better. Oh, not any big damages, at least. Something here. Some marks here, but you can barely feel it actually. It looks worse than it is. And yeah, these are the alusil bores. Yeah, looking good. We'll see the cylinder head. By the way, these are CNC ported from the factory. These ones, the newer V10s, and so we have good flow. But maybe it's possible to do some porting of these ones as well to get a little bit better flow. First glance cylinder head. Yeah, looking good, no damages. So I this one should be able to use again. That's very good. Not all scrap everything about the engine, but removed the cover, the piece here in the valley, and it looks like brand new inside here. That was nice. A little bit different compared to the other sides here. It's looking a bit different down here compared to the 5.0s that I am normally used to, these Lamborghini ones. So yeah, there's a bit of learning curve. Here's the axle for the front wheel drive. Try to take it out first. Feeling the bearing. And also I got some comments I should use an LS engine instead, and put in here, or maybe use a car with an LS in the front. And yeah, it could have been maybe the best recipe for making an good street car, race car in Sweden. Usually it's the normal recipe. The winners in Sweden in street race and street week, it's an LS twin turbo car. But I want to do something different, as you maybe have already found out, that I usually do some different things in the car, and also there is some kind of saying that if you should beat them, you cannot do it by doing the same thing. You have to try something different. I'm not building this one to conquer the world or win anything, but it would be fun with the bike concept here to win over the more guys that are doing it the same. They're not doing it the same, it's a different chassis and whatever, but yeah, you understand what I mean. Actually got a small one here and here to break it loose. And there as well. Didn't see that one. There as well. Cool. Some threads that goes in. Like this, maybe. because this one is glued on. Oh. I do not think the old engines have this one. Don't remember. Some more. Becomes really strong. Great. Yes, this is an old cover, and it do not have this threaded holes here that I just used to break this loose. So looking pretty similar, but also here it's the power steering pump on the old one, and the new one do not have it because it's electric power steering. And there is a lot of improvements on this engine compared to the first engine, as I've discovered and seen that oil pump and a lot of things is much better in the new ones, stronger block, and I think I can get into more details about it. Here it looks pretty much the same things here looks like. But the bad thing about these engines, it's the odd fire ones, so they do not sound that good. The engine I have in the Volvo, the 5-liter even fire, it's a bad engine compared to this one, but it is a better sounding one. Always cool to see all of these chain drives here. A bit complicated compared to like the normal cars. So I'm used to like a 2J, for example, just the belt and some one idler pulley or something. I think I will need to replace the timing chains and some things here to if I should build this as a strong, reliable engine. I talked a bit in last episode with this car about the complexity about the car, with how many drain plugs it is in the car. Let's talk a little bit more about the complexity, how this car is quite different from most other race cars or drag race cars. Just have to show you how many connections I have to connect my computer to this car and all the different programs I have to adjust this one and tune it. Also, this is all messy, the wiring. Once again, apologize for that. I hope I can fix this a little bit nicer and make it nicer, the wiring, during the winter. But back here we have two Ethernet connectors. This Ethernet master, it's for the master ECU, controls cylinder 1 to 5. And this one is the slave, so it's two different Ethernet. And Ethernet, it's very fast communications. Here I have one connector, it's for the Motec PDM that controls the after the car engine of the car. And a bit strange connector, that's because this one is connected here, it's an UTC USB to CAN adapter, so this one I connect here and then get an USB out. These are the ones I use the most connecting my Ethernet connector, and it's the master ECU I do the most of the tuning in. It sends all the important information to the slave, so if I tune fuel, for example, I only tune in the master one. So that's three back there. In the forward here we have one USB connector for this forward PDM. This one I added a little bit later during the season now to control the air condition. So now it's controlling the air condition and some other things, but I will remove many of these normal fuses and use them in the PDM in the future. So that's number 4, and we got another USB one coming up here, and this is for the front differential. So this one I control the front differential or the 4-wheel drive, I could say, how much 4-wheel drive I will have, and this is for the Cyvex program. Here we got another Ethernet connector, and this connector is connected to my dash here, the Motec dash, and this dash using two different programs to control that one. Here we have the number 7, it's the OBD connector, and from this one I'm actually doing quite a lot for many different units in the car, and usually most of the time I'm using this one, the Rostec VCDS, to connect to like the gearbox if I want to do the learning and adaptations of gearbox, see fault codes in all different kind of modules that I still have in the car. So that one is used there. It's with an USB to the computer, but also I'm using this OBD to put in different tunes in the gearbox with this connector, and this one is also for different kinds of things like logging in the gearbox, and I can also with this put in tunes in the gearbox, and hopefully I can use that one a bit more in the future. And that one is also USB. There is also some other small modules that I could connect, the water pump, intercooler water pump for example. There is a computer program for that one to control the water pump or adjust the PWM characteristics of that one. It would have been awesome to have all of the computers go to one outlet and hub or something, but yeah, that's not possible. And now talk about different computer programs. It's even more computer programs. I think usually I use 10 different programs, but it's even more than that. I have used like 13 different, I think, when starting this car. This is the normal one. M1 tune, do all the tuning on the engine. So here I do most of the thing, and when I have been driving I'm using Motex i2 software. So this is the software to check the logs, see how everything run, and what I could tune and modify for the next run. Next program, I think it's the Hardwire PDM. It's for the forward PDM that controls the car. I have a little bit in this one now, but I will connect a lot more here, and I will show a bit more on this one. I have Motex PDM Manager. It's for the aft PDM of the car, so most of the things to the engine here, some of the lights as well here. We have the Cybex program for the front differential. On this one I control front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And for the dash, it's actually two different programs. I have the C1 to 7 dash. This one is for like inputs and outputs. And because I have custom display, there's another program, so I have to work on both this one and display creator for adjusting all the kind of different displays I have, and a bit tricky to work on this. But after that we have VCDS, and that is the good thing to remove all the fault codes, see what kind of faults I have in some units, like the transmission for example, most important, worked a lot with that one. We have this small program. This is for sending tunes for the gearbox, and this is one thing that I do not have full control over, and I don't feel good about it because I cannot tune the gearbox as for now. There's no good aftermarket ECU to control the gearbox, so I have to buy tunes for it, and this is the program I'm used for sending tunes. And I'll talk a little bit later on this one because I have another program here. This one I used for logging the gearbox. I used when I had faults, a problem with the gearbox, I could log a lot of values with this program, Vehicle. This one costs every month you use it, so it's not that good, and it's actually not that good update rate on the gearbox as well. So I was thinking to use this to maybe adjust things like the launch control and shifts in the future, but it's not that good for that one. This one is a program I bought, and this one should be able to log the gearbox at a higher rate, but I could not get the logging to work. It's patching my gearbox, but it's not working the log. It says the patch is no good, so still a problem with this one. And this one should be able to send tunes if I make my own gearbox tunes. When I'm logging, for example, in a vehicle, I could use this one, and I have used this one. It's like a diesel power program, but it's pretty good for looking at logs. This is a free version. Is good or not when I had a problem with the gearbox. If I want with this program to send an tune to my gearbox, that I hope I can do in the future, because I want to have full control of the car, Then I need to use the tunes in this one. This is WinOLS there, and this is a gearbox file, as you can see. Maybe you cannot see that, but here we have all the parameters and tables in the gearbox of an Audi. There is some tools to maybe figure out what kind of values these are, but I think it's very complicated to find out everything here. It will be a lot of work to learn this, but if I maybe do it sometime, I hope so, I can modify my tune in the gearbox. The thing is, I cannot read out my tune I have in the gearbox now from the tuner. I have an original file only, so I can use that one and modify, but this is not the near future. I think for a long time now I will use the bought tunes. Also some small, I have like Otis engineering here, when pairing, bought some different kind of modules in the car. Actually I borrowed another tool to put it between the computer and the OBD to program some of the units there to match the car, so the car would be happy. So a lot of different programs, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 different computer programs to control this car. So yep, quite complicated compared to normal 2-4 door. I think most of the drag racing cars as well do not have this many computer programs. Getting oil pump out and getting into the crankcase of the engine here, and it looks good what I could see. I have found a little bit of small debris here in one of these. Yeah, these are the filters before the oil pump, so it's really good, these kind of strainers. But it was a hole in the piston, so it could have come some pieces from the engine inside, yeah, in the crankcase. But I think the oil pump is good. I will check that one. And nice to see all the improvements they have done on these V10 engines compared to the first one, the 5 liters. Here, for example, looks really nice for the oil scavenging here. Nice machining and a nice slot here, so all the oil will scoop into here and suction there to the oil pump. Oil pump that is down here, it is a much better oil pump, water pump here built into that one, but the oil pump is much better also than the old ones. First glance, crankshaft seems to be all fine, so that's a good thing. And they're a bit cool here. Looks like it's already like balanced with some heavy metal in the side of the crankshaft here in the counterweight. So that's a cool thing. That is not the case in the old one. I had to put it in my turbo car to make it balance. Also here we have the damaged piston. You can see it's hole through it. It's also damaged there on the tip that pushes the piston ring in there, and that is, yeah, one of the reasons the cylinder walls are damaged. But the bearing coating is a bit worn off, but you cannot feel anything with your finger, so it's not that bad. Yeah, so the bearing for me, yeah, it looks a little bit ugly color wise, but not that bad. But at the first glance it's looking good. Kind of brownish, all crankshaft, but all fine. I would hope to not need to sleeve the block or find a block that is fresh to replace with, but that would be too expensive. So now I'm actually thinking about to put some steel sleeves, even though if that has some negative things and some positives as well with doing that. One thing I really didn't thought about is that maybe I can do it in my small CNC here. It's a little bit too small, I think, but now I just put it in to see if it would be possible. Remove the vices here and maybe make some kind of 45-degree brackets holders for it. It's a little bit too small, but I think it could maybe be possible, because that's one thing. The sleeves, yeah, they cost some money, but it's more expensive to install the sleeves than the sleeves themselves if I leave it to an engine shop. And the biggest job is to mill out here, and you have flanged seals, so yeah, it has to be some measurements and precise work. Usually it is a rod through the main bearings here. Maybe I can do something like that, or if I just make a bracket and then probe in the centers and bore it out, and then leave it to a machine shop that makes the honing of the block and boring of the block. When thinking about this, and that I already have a CNC machine here that I'm producing parts, making things right now for my company, I'm feeling a little bit more positive about that. What do you think? Is it possible in my CNC here to machine out to put some sleeves into this one? Kind of for all of my cars I had at some point some spare engines. When I had my Supra, I bought some damaged engines also that I built up for like a spare engine, even though it was not same components, not as strong, but still was a complete engine. And after some time I put that one in my Volvo 245. So that one became N2J Volvo 245. When I had my Lamborghini, I also bought some damaged engines to have some spare parts or to build a spare engine. And that ended up also in my 245. And now with this build, I also want to buy spare engines. I do not have money to buy complete engines, spare engines. But if I can buy some damaged engines or damaged engine parts, then I could maybe fix and make some engines. So if you have any of these Generation 2 Audi R8 or Lamborghini Huracan engines, then please let me know, and I could be interested to buy some of those engines or engine parts. I got someone contacting me with the kind of RS6 engine V10s, but it's not the same. Maybe some few components are the same. Also, I got generation 1 of the R8. Someone contacting me, but those are not the same cylinder heads, quite different. Maybe the block is a bit the same, I don't know yet. Also, I got contacted by a guy that had one block here that is damaged. It's damaged a couple of years ago, and I bought the engine block here and some parts for it. It was not the complete engine. Looks like the crankshaft is okay. You can see it's a hole here in the underside of the block, so a connecting rod had pushed out here on this cylinder, cylinder number 6. I don't really know what could have happened. This looks like a really fresh and new engine. Don't think it has a lot of miles, but this cylinder number 9 looks like war. I think even worse than my cylinder. So it's strange. It has and damaged here as well, some multiple cylinder failures. But the good thing with this one is that the cylinder head on bank number 1 that was damaged for me is quite okay on this one. So the cylinder head on the right hand side, bank 2, that is fine for me. It was damaged on that engine, but on this engine here it is the bank number 1. A little bit strange with some damage here, but there is some damage here. I don't know what this looks like. If it is any debris, FOD in the cylinder, or if it's... yeah, it must be debris. Yeah, I was first thinking if it was detonations, but no, I don't think so. So absolutely much better than my cylinder head at first glance here. Should be okay to just resurface this one and use it. It will still be a little bit of marks in there, but it's in the squish areas. What do you think? Is it possible to use this cylinder head? That is actually some good news for this project. Then I have a cylinder head, and then I will try to put sleeves into the engine block, and also I have one block here to practice on to put the sleeves in, or I can maybe put sleeves in this one as well if everything goes good. So I am starting to building up an spare block also, and you can see the intake ports much cleaner than my cylinder head, and you can see the CNC porting of these ones. Shouldn't it be nicer to polish these ones out, make it a little bit smoother than this kind of porting. I guess so, but I don't know. So at least some good news here at the end of this video. I think this is it for now, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.